Hey, Tim here with Expert Power Wash. Just did a video on this skid here behind me that's on the channel. Hit the subscribe button, take a look at our recent videos. In this video, we're going to be talking about that skid. That's a really cool double trouble skid. There's a bunch of extras on it. Let's jump into the video and I'll show you all the cool things that are on this skid. All right, let's take a look at this skid. So this one here has two pressure washers. We typically do an 8-gallon a minute and a 5.5 gallon per minute. This one actually has 2 8s. They are both custom built gear drive pressure washing machines. Believe it or not, this skid actually has 4 tanks on it. So I can give you an overview there so you can see all the tanks. Even with 4 tanks, we still have about 4 or so feet here on the back of the skid, so there's still space. See if I can get you a side shot here so you can see all of the tanks. You can see just how much space is still left on this skid with 2 8s, 5 Titan electric reels. This thing is laid out really, really nice. So this features our 13-gallon slim fuel tank. You can see the way that we've built this. We have this etched out here so it fits neatly behind the upright. Both pressure washers are running into the fuel tank here. So you can see there's 2 pickup lines running in. Of course, we have our rollover valve that's vented. That is one of those valves that does not leak, so it has a little ball in it. And as the fuel bounces up to the underside of that, it'll push a little ball up, and then it allows the tank to breathe and not spill. So that was a technology that was adapted from NASCAR. Most people will just put a little barb in there. We probably went a little overboard. You can use one of these barbs here. But again, if you don't have a rollover valve, it's going to splash out. Got the 1-inch drain line there. With as much water as this pressure washing skid can hold, you want the ability to be able to drain your tanks out very quickly. So that is why that is 1 inch. Also, you can fill buckets, wash your hands, wash your eyes out. Lots of cool features you can use that drain hose for. Let's start over here on the other side. So like I said, this is a custom built Honda pressure washer. One thing to note here, we got a special exhaust. This one exhausts out this way. And this one exhausts out the other way. So both exhaust out off the side of the skid. There's a look at the side there. There's 4 Titan electric reels stacked. You can see we have a short little whip line coming off the block mounted unloader. So this one goes right into the hose reel. You notice that we have this on quick connects. So if you wanted to disconnect the hose reel and run directly out of the pressure washer, you can do that. Quick connect on both sides. We're using stainless steel stacking kits. So this is the stack kit here that allows 2 reels to be stacked on top of each other. All stainless steel hardware. This top reel here, this is an 18-inch electric Titan reel. We have 200 feet of soft wash hose. This is the really nice 1/2-inch Fierce Jet. There's some other options out there, but we really like this stuff. It's really sturdy, yet it's flexible. It doesn't crush. It holds up to continuously pulling your hose up and down roofs. Has a PSI rating of 300 PSI, so really nice stuff. So this reel is a full frame aluminum reel, and it has the stainless steel internals. So this pipe that runs through here, this is the manifold. If you're not using something that is stainless, it's going to rust out. These typically start to rot out from the inside out, and you don't really see that you have an issue until it's too late and your system's broke down and it's not working. So very important that you use high quality stuff if this is something that you're going to get built by somewhere else, or this is something you're going to attempt yourself. We got the stainless steel swivel right here, all the way down to the hose clamps that we're using. So we're using really high quality hose clamps. Hose clamps are typically stainless steel, but the screw itself is usually a zinc screw. So our clamps are full stainless with full stainless screws. Look at the way that we have this wired up. Let me get a closer shot here for you guys. So this is our wire here. It runs along the side and comes through here. let's see if I can show you on camera. So this right here, this is the Titan wiring here. This is ours. So we're using a higher gauge. I think the Titan's 10 gauge, we're using an 8 gauge. Really nice, high quality marine grade wiring. And that all goes into a circuit breaker that's in the box. Going down to the pressure washer hose, everything is the same. Stainless steel internals, stainless steel swivel, except for this one has 200 feet of pressure washer hose. Has our ball valve swivel. One thing I failed to mention here on the soft wash hose, we have the ST510 gun. Really nice high quality gun, crimped fittings, stainless steel J-rod with 4 different nozzle patterns there. As far as pressure washing hose, we are using Fierce Jet. This has been the absolute best pressure washing hose that we've used out of the last 8 years. We sell this in our shop. You can see over in that bin there, it's just about out. It's really popular stuff. So this is really nice. It's a smooth jacket. It's gray. It's non-marking. It's not one of those wrapped type hoses. There's a look at the side of the hose reels there. Here's another look at the side here. If you take a look at the way that we have these wired up, they're very clean. Everything follows the stock Titan wiring. We're using a 3M heat shrink. You can kind of see here. That's all. We use pure tin plated copper lugs with a 3M heat shrink. Just all around the best you can possibly get. This is one of those areas where if you don't really overbuild on your system, you're going to have breakdowns. And really important that you use a really high quality wiring, thicker gauge. You want everything to be sealed up. It's just one of those things, you want your reels to work. We got stainless steel caps here on the ends of the manifolds. Let me back up here so you can get a better look. So the last 2 reels there are for garden hose. So with 2 8-gallon-a-minute pressure washers, you want to be able to dual feed your tanks. And these are set up to do that. The way that the customer wanted this set up, this is actually just for storage. So this is 100 feet of Flexilla 3/4. Then of course another 100 feet of 3/4 Flexilla there on the bottom. So this is plumbed in, goes directly into the Hudson float valve that goes into the buffer tank. And then again, this one is just for storage. So if you want to connect 2 hoses, you have a longer run of hose you need to run, you're able just to pull that off and add it. So I mentioned dual feeding. This is where the dual feeding comes into. So this is actually a garden port. So simply pull your hose off here. He didn't want to run through the hose reel for the second hose. It's a nice little garden port, runs up. You got the 3/4 crush proof hose, and then it runs into a second Hudson float valve. So even when you're dual feeding your hoses into your tank, you don't have to worry about that second hose overflowing your tanks. I've seen it happen where you got a hose running in there, all that back pressure forces all back through all the plumbing. That's something you don't want to see on your pressure washing setup. We got the pull holders here. These are our nice custom built pull holders. We got the largest up top down to the smallest. You can carry 3 different types of pulls. Let's take a look at this one over here. I actually have a pull sitting in here. So that would be for a water fed pull. You can put some brushes and other things there on your skid without having to put it into the side or worrying about it breaking. It fits nice and securely here on the between the cab and the skid. I mentioned this skid has 5 Titan electric hose reels. So here is the 5th one. This one is securely mounted to the box here. And this one runs off of the pressure washer that is on this side. So whatever way this customer pulls up to a project, he could have guys running off of each side of the truck. This is a 12-inch reel, another 200 feet of Fierce Jet hose here on this reel. And this comes complete with a second ball valve swivel. It's all tucked in there neatly. Same stainless steel internals, stainless steel swivel. Again, we have all of these on quick connects. So this can be disconnected as well as from the pressure washer here. So if you wanted to bypass a reel and pull all your hose out and run it directly off the pressure washer, you can simply do that. Let me get a little closer here so you can see. This disconnects from the line there, and you're able to hook up your pressure washing hose. Next, beside the box there on the right hand side, you have a 7-gallon soap tank. This is the soap for the soft wash system. So this is our Pro Mixer XL. This is an upgraded version of what's typically out there on the market. We've done a few things to make this thing better, make it last a little bit longer. Let me get a little closer here so you can see. So on the water side, this is all 3/4 plumbing all the way down through here. So 3/4 check valve, 3/4 mixing valve. And then over here, this is all 1/2 inch. And then last here, this is your chem or your bleach. This is a 3/4 check valve, again, a 3/4 mixing valve. And we've done that. That gives it a little bit more room to flow and mix appropriately into the mixer. So the last valve here, this is the rinse valve. So basically this 3-way valve goes in between the tanks and this bleach valve here. So you can select for that valve to pull water or chem. So this helps the system last a little bit longer, keeps everything rinsed out and flown appropriately. All right, let's take a look at the back side here. This is the new Remco dual control. This one has a 5.3. These are available in 7 GPM pumps as well. Everything is wired up. We have this on a super easy, quick disconnect. So those are flange nuts. Simply spin those off. The pump plugs in through an SAE plug. So if you ever have a pump go down, super easy, takes less than 5 minutes to change that out. Like I mentioned, that is the dual control pump. So that is the upgraded, longer lasting, actually built for soft wash industry. Let's take a closer look at this pressure washer here. So this one features our block mounted pulsar unloader. So this is a heavy duty, all 1/2 inch plumbing. It's block mounted. And what I mean by that is this aftermarket unloader is removed from the pump. Got a 90. This is all 1/2 inch. Goes into the unloader. And then we block mount it here. So that is super helpful. It takes off of all the vibration and all the wear and tear off the pump there. General pump. Got the gearbox that goes in between the pump and the pressure washer. This is on a custom base. Here's a closer look to the side there. A couple more things I wanted to show you. One of the custom things we did for Dimitri here is we mounted his surface cleaner rack actually up underneath the crossbars. Where this becomes really helpful is we typically have them mounted up top. Let me show you one here. So there's one mounted on the top, and then another one here. I'll show you a front version of that. But the way he wanted his set up is he wanted to use the whole rack for ladders. So he'll have one size here and then one size over there. He doesn't have to pull off a ladder to get to another ladder. So this worked out really well, fits really well. We just had to make this upright system a little bit taller. I'll give you a look at the plumbing here at the bottom. You can kind of see how we connected those 3 tanks. So there is a total of 300 gallons of water, and we're using really heavy duty Tiger Flex hose, heavy duty stainless steel clamps there. Those are the special clamps that we get out of the UK. A little bit expensive, but they hold up really well, and they hold the hoses and keep them from leaking. All banjo fittings down there. Of course, the last tank is the bleach tank. We don't believe in putting any plumbing in the bottom of a bleach tank. Bleach will eventually wear down those fittings and you're just going to have problems. Speaking of plumbing here, let me show you another thing here on how we plumb our tanks in general. So we have these nice rubber grommets that we use. This is all Curitech poly braid hose. We're not using any of the hardware store stuff. So this is heavier duty, just way nicer hose. Comes down through the tank. See if I can get a better view there. Comes down through the tank. Then we have a slotted PVC filter there at the bottom. We don't have any clamps, no metal, no nothing in the tanks. If you have metal in a bleach tank, we do have a video here on the channel. Take a look at that video and you can see what happens when you put metal inside your bleach tanks. This is a 8-foot skid, double trouble with a bunch of extra upgrades to it. So if you're interested in something like this, I'll put all my contact information down below. This one is skid number 97. So we've built a few of these. So every build that we build is built out meticulously. We take our time with these things. We want them to work well for you guys. We're building these for business owners. And if you're down, you're not able to make money. So through our years of experience, I spent about 8 years on a truck. I've ran crews. I've seen it all. And one of the biggest things that I'm super passionate about is making sure that we don't take a skid and just jam it full with a bunch of stuff. In the end, you have to maintenance it. You have to get in here, you have to change the oil. You may need to do a pump change. There's plumbing back there. On this skid, you can get to every part of it and maintenance everything. It just, long-term ownership makes it a lot easier to work off of, a lot easier to maintenance it, less downtime. Just all around a better layout to have it laid out like this. All right, I'll leave my contact information down below. I appreciate you guys watching the video. We have a bunch more videos here on the channel if you're interested in other builds like this build. Again, I appreciate it. You guys have a great day.